pages might be something that you could reflect on and use prospectively. The last 2 pages, right now, are probably better for you because they talk about company-specific / industry recommendations. Now, normally, if you were in existence for a number of years and you've had some real data, I could take your real data and do a comparison, and the package would actually tell me strengths and weaknesses because I've got some real data to compare to your own personal data to a real basket of data. In this particular case, absent real data, what it's really saying is in your industry, these are the type of things you should concern yourself with. For argument's sake, avoid prepaying expenses. Now, we're already talking about being a little pressed for having funds in the first place, but there's a distinct possibility that you might decide to go off and get some insurance, and the insurance agent might say, your premium is going to be $2,000. And you might say, you know what, I just spoke to my brother, he's going to give me the 10 grand, so I'll have that 2,000. But the question of the insurance broker is, could you finance that for me? And he says, yeah, I can finance it for you, but instead of being $2,000, it's going to be $2,100, but you get to pay it over 12 months. Okay? So maybe we don't want to spend the $2,000 up front. We don't want to prepay it because if we do the payments over 12 months, over the course of the year, we have more dollars available to us. So we may not want to necessarily prepay expenses. We may hold off as long as possible. And the complement of that is also in paying bills. If somebody is not going to really bother you after 30 days for a bill, but is willing to go out 45 days, well, go out 45 days. Stretch it a little bit more because it keeps more cash in your pocket. And certainly earlier on, the availability of cash becomes more critical. You want to be able to have, added funds available. Here's a good one. Watch out for the amount of cash that is being used for personal expenditures. Make sure you don't use that business checking account as a piggy bank. There's some money there, so let me borrow. Because it's all well-intentioned. You always intend to pay it back. But the problem is, and you mentioned before about segregating dollars, making sure you keep your money in 2 different places and so forth. You want to make sure that you don't start tapping the till, because if you don't start getting funds flow in, then you don't have the money available that you intended to use for your business. And now how do you go back to your brother who went you to 10,000 and him saying, well, what happened to all that money that I gave you? Well, I picked up a gift from my girlfriend, and remember that trip that I went on to Florida and so forth? The money was there, and I figured I was getting this money in from a customer, and I never got it in. So you got to be very careful that you don't avail yourself of that business cash for personal expenditures.
You can probably only spend, I'm going to say 3/4, but I'd be really careful, of your time doing your thing. The other quarter of your time, you are your own marketing person. You are your own accounting person. You are your own bookkeeper person. You are your own HR department. Okay, you got to HR yourself. Nobody's going to HR you. Nobody's going to make sure that your health insurance is up to date. Nobody's going to make sure that you paid your taxes for you. Nobody's going to do the withholding for you like the HR department does. So all those departments that if you work for an organization, I say nothing about the quality of the organization people work for in our lives, nevertheless, you are the only one. And you have got to pull some time, especially in the beginning, to manage your own business that does not involve, doing your thing. You really got to pull that time away. And so that means when you do the arithmetic about how long it takes and how much money it takes to make a cupcake, build in not just the taxes, but build in those other 5, 7, 10 hours a week that you're going to spend doing your business. If you've got to make $100 an hour, you can't at 40 hours a week. It means you got to make $133 an hour at 30 hours a week. And it's not like you're not going to be working 40 hours a week, but you're not going to be producing the thing you're trying to produce 40 hours a week. Now, I know you're all artists and you're up to all the crack of dawn and you're working 24 hours a day. do that in the beginning. But if in terms of your life, and this is another, a lot of pastrami sandwiches have gone down about what we do with our lives with this guy over here. You cannot go work 60 hours a week, 45 doing your thing, and 15 managing your business for a long, long time. Maybe you can, but most people can't do it. Figure it out for yourself, but you really have to figure out how much time it's going to take you to really run your business. And a good rule of thumb is a quarter of your working time. So just, I have to throw that in.